Hi students, welcome to Bosco Campus Session. I am Darshana. Hope all of you are fine. I think all of you understand the previous class. Let us continue the topic A Prayer in Spring by Robert Frost. As the title shows, it is the expression of gratitude to God's blessings that relates to the whole content of the poem through a prayer. What is the meaning of the word prayer? How can we define the term prayer? Yes, prayer is a spoken or unspoken wish that is addressed to God. Yes, prayer means it is a spoken or unspoken wish that we address to God. So here, this particular poem is in a form of prayer. Prayer, that is the expression of one's gratitude. Here, poet's gratitude, expression of poet's gratitude to God's blessing. Here, God's blessing means that spring season, and that relates to the whole content of the poem. First of all, I read the poem, then I will explain you. Look at the poem. Oh, give us pleasure in the flowers today, and give us not to think so far away. As the uncertain harvest keep us here, all simply in the springing of the year. Oh, give us pleasure in the orchid white, like nothing else by day, life goes by night. And make us happy in the happy peace, the sun dilating round the perfect trees. And make us happy in the darting bird that suddenly above the bees is heard, the meteor that thrusts in with needle bill and of a blossom in midair stands still. For this is love, and nothing else is love, the which it is reserved for God above, to sanctify to what far ends He will, but which it only needs that we fulfill. Look at the first stanza. Oh, give us pleasure in the flowers today, and give us not to think so far away. As the uncertain harvest keep us here, all simply in the springing of the year. Students, what do you understand from the first stanza? Yes. Oh, give us pleasure in the flowers today. So in the first stanza, it shows about a prayer to God. I already told you this particular poem is in the form of a plea. That is a prayer. It's an expression of poet's gratitude to God. So it shows about a prayer to God for happiness in the moment, because it reminds that, oh, give us pleasure, and yes, give us not to think so far away as the uncertain harvest. Yes, that the present contains a bunch of wonderful gifts, and one of those is springtime. Oh, give us pleasure in the flowers today, and give us not to think so far away. Here, poet expresses his gratitude towards God for giving such a wonderful season to us, and he considers it as a gift from the part of God to humanity, that wonderful season. And that season contains, that is a bunch of wonderful gifts in the form of fruits, flowers, etc. So, oh, give us pleasure in the flowers today, and give us not to think so far away. Yes. Then he insists that it is a time of rebirth, and it is a time of fertility. That spring season means blossoming, growing, that is greenery. It is a time of rebirth, rejuvenation, fertility. So, and give us not to think so far away as the uncertain harvest. So the author asks that we don't put our minds on the uncertain harvest, and give us not to think, we don't waste our time on thinking something future, or we don't put our minds on the uncertain harvest. Here, poet use a figure of speech, that is simile, the second and third line, that is, and give us not to think so far away as the uncertain harvest. Here, poet used as, is in the form of comparison. That is, give us not to think so far away as the uncertain harvest. That is, we don't waste our time on thinking about our future. Our future is purely unpredictable, unreachable. That is still here future. That is, it means we do not allow to think about something in the future, and that is still unreachable and unpredictable. We don't or we can't predict what will happen in the future, like a harvest. Here, the simile he used in the sense means, yes, when we plant a tree or when we sow seeds, etc. Yes, we can't predict what will be the harvest in the future. It may be good or bad. Like the uncertain harvest, we can't predict our future. It may be good or bad. So why ask the God not to think, or we don't put us as to, yes, we don't put our minds on the uncertain harvest. We do not allow to think about something in the future that is still unreachable and unpredictable. So he insists, keep us here. The poet asks us to enjoy the present moment. Keep us here all simply in the springing of the year. So enjoy our life, especially at that present moment. And be grateful of everything given by God at present. Yes, and express your gratitude and express your thankfulness to God for giving such a wonderful season, for giving such a beautiful season. It is the meaning of the first stanza. Oh, give us pleasure in the flowers today, and give us not to think so far away as the uncertain harvest. Keep us here, all simply in the springing of the year. I think all of you understand the first stanza. Let us continue the topic. Look at the second stanza. Oh, give us pleasure in the orchid white, like nothing else by day, like goes by night, and make us happy in the happy bees, the swarm dilating round the perfect trees. In the second stanza, Frost asking God for happiness and wants us to be happy along with everything else God has created. Oh, give us pleasure in the orchid white. Yes, the author wants us to observe its beauty of God's creations. Give us pleasure in the orchid white. Oh, give us happiness or pleasure in the orchid white. Orchid means beautiful garden of fruits. Orchid means beautiful garden of fruits. So, oh, give us pleasure in the orchid white like nothing else by day, like goes by night. Yes, here again poet used figure of speech, that is simile. Look at the sentences. Give us pleasure in the orchid white. Oh, give us pleasure in the orchid white. Orchid white like nothing else by day. That is one comparison. Here orchid white is compared to spring season. That particular day, not season, that particular day, like nothing else by day. Like here he used the like. Then again he compared this orchid white with the goes by night, like goes by night. Here two comparisons are there. Orchid white is first compared with the day, that is orchid white like nothing else by day, and second comparison is orchid white like goes by night. Here poet used simile. In two comparisons he used the figure of speech simile. So what is the meaning of that sentence? Who gave us pleasure? Yes, the poet is again asking to God that give us happiness and pleasure in the orchid white. Orchid white means beautiful garden of fruits. Orchid. And the orchid itself is white. Here he used the connective word like in the two parts. So here he compares first orchid white with nothing else by day, and second he compared with goes by night. The author wants to compare the beauty of the orchid white with the beauty of spring day. That is the first comparison. First, The author wants to compare the beauty of the orchid white with the beauty of spring day that cannot be found in common days. That is, here he says that nothing else by day, this beauty of spring day that cannot be found in common days. Here, white is the orchid itself. So, orchid means it is a beautiful garden of fruits. So, there are different types of fruits in that particular garden. Here, as we know, there are apple, peach, pear, that is different kinds of fruits in the orchids. They have different colors. For apple, we know that this is red in color. So, apple is red, peach is yellow, pear is green. That is different colors are there. So, however, if we peel those three fruits, in the case of apple, in the case of pear, in the case of peach, so when we peel those three fruits, their colors are the same. That is, the inside, the inner part of these fruits, outside is different in colors. That is red, green, yellow, etc. But when we peel the outer part of these fruits, the inner part, their colors are the same, that is white. That's why here poet used the term orchid white. So here white is the orchid itself. So when we peel these three fruits, their colors, the inner part, the colors are the inner part of these fruits, the colors are the same, that is white. And also white is the description of the sunlight that shines the orchid, that is the brightness of the sun. Here orchid white is compared with the spring day, the beauty of the spring day. So the shining of the sun is also, yes, here termed as white. White be the description of the sunlight that shines the orchid. That is the meaning of the comparison here in the first part, that is the orchid white like nothing else by day. Then the second comparison. So, first comparison, that is white color of fruit, sunlight, etc. That is the comparison. And the second is orchid white like goes by night, and goes by night. That means appearance of American ghost. American in the sense here means we all know that our poet Robert Frost is an American writer. So here he expressed his native. Here he expressed his native idea. That's why I said that it is American ghost. So appearance of American ghost is reflected by white shadow that appears by night. That's why here poet said orchid white is like ghost by night. There is a notion that this American ghost is reflected by white shadow that appears by night. So orchid white first compared with the day, beauty of the spring day. Then orchid white is compared with the ghost by night. All of you understand the meaning of the first two lines in the second stanza? And make us happy in the happy bees, the swarm dilating round the perfect trees. Yes, the poet goes continues his expression and make us happy. Again, the poet expresses his gratitude, or his expresses feeling that and make us happy in the happy bees. That means the poet closely observes that beautiful nature and make us happy in the happy bees. He closely observes that in this beautiful springtime, yes, all tiny creatures like bees and other, yes, birds, etc., other tiny creatures, they are happy. And along with that tiny creatures, the poet asks God to make us happy along with that tiny creatures in the nature and make us happy in the happy bees. The swarm dilating round the perfect trees. Swarm means a group of tiny insects like bees, etc. Other tiny insects. Yes, he closely observes the activities of these tiny creatures in that beautiful springtime, and they are all very happy and engaged in their activities. And the poet asks God to give us happiness along with that tiny creatures and make us happy in the happy bees, the swarm dilating round the perfect trees. That is, these all tiny creatures. That is in the last line. It tells us the progression of happy creatures. That is, all these tiny creatures, they are doing their activities, they are continuing their activities or their daily routines. That progression of happy creatures going about their daily routine by expanding their activities in the beautiful trees. That is the swarm, that group of tiny creatures that is dilating, that progression or continuing their activities, that flying or something like that, dilating round the perfect trees. It is their daily routine, maybe to collect nectar from the flowers or something like that. So here, White expresses his happiness, or he asks God to give us happiness along with that tiny creatures in the nature. They are very happy and they continue their activities, their daily routine. The poet closely observes the beauty of the nature, especially in that spring season. This is the meaning of the second stanza. All of you understand, students? Then look at the third stanza. And make us happy in the darting bird that suddenly above the beast is heard. The meteor that dressed in with needle bill and of a blossom in midair stands still. The third stanza, it shows that the author asks to God for his friends, neighbors, and other relatives be able to discover pleasure and joy in these natural springtime delights. Yes, the poet asks to God or plead to God for his friends, neighbors, relatives, etc., other people that around him be able to discover pleasure and joy in these beautiful natural springtime delights. It is a prayer. He is praying for all humanity that is around him. Who is, yes, the whole humanity. He is praying for his friends, for his relatives, neighbors, etc. And make us happy in the darting bird that suddenly above the bees is heard. Now a bird has flown into the scene of springtime and make us happy in the darting bird that suddenly above the bees. The previous stanza, we heard the happy activities of the bees, the swarm dilating around the perfect trees, etc. Now, a bird has flown into the scene of that springtime, but it does not lazily drift through the air, that suddenly above the bees. This darting bird, it does not lazily fly or drift through the air, but or instead the bird is the meteor that crests. It is like the meteor, that is shooting star. Meteor means it is like a shooting star, that is move or shift very quickly as meteor that changes from place to place. Here darting bird is compared with the meteor that suddenly above the bees is heard. Yes, this darting bird is like the meteor that rests, that is move or shift very quickly as meteor that changes from place to place. And after a quick flight, it suddenly stops just before one of the flowers. Yes, and make us happy in the darting bird that suddenly above the bees is heard, the meteor that thrust in with a needle bill, and of a blossom in midair stands still. Yes, the bird wants to get food or nectar from those blossoming flowers. That's why it, after a quick flight, it suddenly stops just before one of the flowers. It wants to get food or nectar from those blossoming flowers. Here, the poem wants us to be happy about this. The poem wants us to be happy about these natural activities that is going on around us in this beautiful spring season. And this poem wants us to realize that our field of beautiful flowers is now a lively meadow. Meadow here in the sense means it's a full of grass or field of grass that bustling or vibrating with the activity. Yes, this poem wants us to realize that our field of beautiful flowers is now and of a blossom in midair stand still. We should realize that beautiful flowers is now a lively meadow, bustling or vibrating with activities. We have to realize a lot of creatures out there, they are very happy with this springtime. We should realize, we humanity, we people should realize, we have to realize a lot of creatures, tiny creatures like bees, darting birds, etc., that they are very happy with this springtime. And so by look the situation, the author prays to God for people around him. I think all of you understand the third stanza. Let us continue the poem. Last stanza, look at the last stanza. For this is love and nothing else is love, the which it is reserved for God above to sanctify to what far ends he will, but which it only needs that we fulfill. Yes, in the last stanza, the poet brings a person to aware and offers his reasoning that all of God's creation is love. Yes, the poet first brings a person, that is, we should understand or we should aware and offers his reasoning that of all God's creation is love. For this is love and nothing else is love. That God's creation, that his blessings as a in the form of a beautiful spring season, or the tiny beautiful activities, or the beautiful activities of these tiny creatures. So for this is love, that this beautiful nature itself is love. So the creation, that's God's creations. That creation here in the sense means that is in the form of beautiful season, nature, that tiny creatures, etc. So God's creation is love, for this is love and nothing else is love, the which it is reserved for God above. So love from God to people is in the form of beautiful spring. And we have to send, what is our duty? We have to send our best gratitude or thankfulness to God for this beautiful spring, in order to make us conducive in receiving the next plan that has been prepared by him in the future, the which it is reserved for God above to sanctify to what far ends he will. That he is in the capital letter, that H is here, that he mentions God himself. It shows, yes, the meaning here is the which it is reserved for God above to sanctify to what far ends he will. So we have to send, that is our duty. What is our duty? That is our humanity. That is, we have to send our best gratitude to God for this beautiful spring, in order to make us, that is, in order to make us prepared or conducive in receiving the next plan that has been prepared by him in the future, but which it only needs that we fulfill. And moreover, God decide what plan that will be given to us. It is purely in his hands. It is He who decides, that is, God decide what plan that will be given to us, and be prepared to receive His plans that we have not having known yet. That is such a rule of life that we don't know, or we haven't known yet what will be the future. And he compares that to the uncertain harvest in the first stanza, that future. That is, he believes that our poet believes that so many things in life are incomprehensible to the human mind. Means we haven't known yet what will be the future, what we are going to face in future. That is, so many things in life are incomprehensible. That means unreachable and unpredictable to us, to the human mind and heart. Therefore, must be left to God. Yes, that part. We should love to God, and He asks us to send our best gratitude. The poet insists, or poet asks humanity, or we asks us to send our best gratitude or thankfulness to God for the beautiful of everything, that is giving such a beautiful season, or beautiful of everything that is giving to us. We should express our, yes, sincere gratitude, thankfulness to God for giving such a beautiful season, for giving such a beautiful life. And the only thing, what is that? The only thing, that is, we should prepare, that is to make us, or we should prepare in receiving the next plan that has been prepared by him in the future. That is in the God's hands. There is a God who decide what plan that will be given to humanity. That is the meaning of the last stanza. For this is love and nothing else is love, the which it is reserved for God above. That is in God's hands. It is He who decides what will be the next plan, or what will be given to humanity to sanctify to what far ends He will, but which it only needs that we fulfill. That is the only thing we should satisfy, that is to receive, or we should prepare to receive the next plan that He has been prepared by Him in the future. I think all of you understand this poem. It is a beautiful poem by Robert Frost. Yes, he simply expresses the beauty of the nature, especially in the springtime. And I think all of you understand this vision, and we can get a picture of that spring season from these lines that he simply expresses with the help of figure of speech, that is simile, comparison, etc. So I think all of you students, all of you understand this. I think all of you understand this session. Please go through these lines, read again and again, try to understand the content or meaning of the poem, theme of the poem. And there is a homework for you. And the homework is write a critical appreciation of the poem, A Prayer in Spring. Write an appreciation, not critical, write an appreciation of the poem, A Prayer in Spring. And do your homework and send back to me. Thank you. Have a nice day. See you again.